Now, you heard me say before, don't use on-camera mics. I mean, unless you're doing ENG or you're doing action footage, you got to run around with the camera. Obviously, you got to use them. But let's check out some of the issues that show up in terms of delay and phasing and more with using an on-camera mic. In order to demonstrate the difference between in-camera mics versus on-camera mics, we've set up this Canon C100 with its stereo cardioid condenser microphones that go to the built-in analog to digital converters, and we've mounted a Saramonic TM7 on the camera. Now, right now you're listening to me on my lab in this reasonably large studio room. It's the Saramonic V-Mic Link 5, so we're going at 5.8 gigahertz, which is nice. It's close to my noise hole, and that's fine. But right now, if we listen to the TM7, you're going to hear a little bit more of the room. That's true, but it's also really clean, really crisp, and it's a pretty good sound. Even though I'm about, 6.5 feet from the mic or something like this, it's a pretty good sound. But if we switch to the C100 mics, you can hear a huge difference. Now, granted, it's stereo, and that's nice. But the nature of these microphones is not to point directly at anything, although it's sort of focused towards me, towards the front of the camera. It actually is picking up everything from all over the place, and it's just not suited in any capacity, in any way, to pick up dialogue from a subject, maybe even for reference. Now, maybe if you were doing ambiances or something like this, they're actually pretty good condensers, and they sound okay. But not if you want to do reference for dialogue or talent. You have to use a hypercardioid. And back to the TM7, you can hear how much better this is, how much more useful it is. Now, I don't recommend that you put microphones on cameras. I much recommend that you use your lavalier. And listen to how much better this sounds even over the TM7, and I'm only at 6 feet. If I got further back, it would exacerbate the sound of the room, even in the TM7. But notice the difference. The Canon C100, the Saramonic TM7. Huge difference. The V-Mic Pro has an excellent hypercardioid polar pattern. It takes 2 AAs. It has a headphone out and a camera out, TRS 3.5 millimeter, that goes right into your camera or into any other secondary recording device that you'd like. It also has a low cut filter and a wonderful high shelf filter and a bunch of different volume output choices if you'd like. Let me just see here if I can find this. This is the high filter with it off, the high shelf off. Check 1, 2, 3, sibilant, sibilant, and with it on. Sibilant, 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 1, 2, 3, off. Sibilant, 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 and on. Sibilant, sibilant, sibilant. With the high frequency shelf on, it becomes an incredibly bright but really broad-bodied microphone. Not something that you would typically see putting on a camera. You usually see something with a lot more edge and missing the low frequencies. But this has a really lovely body and does a great job of rejecting stuff from the side. I mean, this doesn't sound very good at all. But when you get right on point with it, its incredibly narrow hypercardioid polar pattern really makes a great sound. This is the Saramonic V-Mic, which, you would think, oh, it's V-Mic as opposed to V-Mic Pro, so it should have a lot less features. Well, it actually has exactly the same features as the V-Mic Pro. But what Saramonic has done is created a completely different sounding mic, which gives it a completely different use. This microphone has a lot more brightness, a lot more edge for really picking up dialogue. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So when I go into this here, you can hear the difference between this one and the V-Mic Pro. The high shelf off, check 1, 2, 3, sibilant, sibilant, and with it on. Sibilant, 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 1, 2, 3, off. This has a lot more upper mid frequencies, a lot more edge specifically for dialogue, and because it's a hypercardioid polar pattern, still has that really great rejection that's here. Now it also has the high frequency shelf, if I can find it here, there it is, which once you engage it, gives it even more high frequencies and a really great sibilant coverage. Sibilant, sibilant with it on, sibilant, sibilant, sibilant with it off, sibilant, sibilant, sibilant with it on. With it on, you get a really great, it's not flat at all. It has a lot of boosty stuff to really get powerful, clean, and crunchy even, just kind of really beefy sounding dialogue.